Welcome everyone to another edition of the Tony White Show. I am your host, Tony White. It's been a while since I've last visited with you. Um, I have been living life, I've been busy, but yet uh, I've been enjoying at various times my time that I've had off. When I say I've had off, because a couple of years ago I retired, and my life has changed in so many ways since my retirement some years ago. But nevertheless, I still enjoy, getting out and doing things. I still work occasionally when I want to. I'm in that sort of position right now where I can do so when I choose, and that's a good thing. But all of that aside, I'm just so glad to be back with everyone to reconnect. And I guess I'm going to go forward into the future here, upcoming in 2026. I'll be making more videos, and I'm looking forward to it. But I didn't come to tell you those things that I have just talked about so much as I came to you to talk about a great man, Charles Stephaney. He was a producer, an arranger, and a composer, and a heck of a genius. Charles Stephaney, worked with many groups. Back in the 1960s, he worked for Chess Records, and he worked with many different artists and groups, whatnot. His last couple of albums, he had four, and I'm gonna, it's gonna be tough for me because I should have brought my notes, and I didn't do so. So I'm doing this by memory. But he died in the spring of 1976. And they had released four of his last albums that he had worked on. One being, I believe it was Earth, Wind, and Fire. Oh, the Earth, Wind, and Fire, The Emotions, Denise Williams, that's three. And there's probably one more. I want to say Minnie Riperton. I could be wrong about that. But there was four albums that he had worked on, and they were all successful. No surprise, because again, Charles Stephaney was a genius. And if he got his hands on it, if he had a part to play in it, it was probably going to be successful. You can go on YouTube and check out the post that I had made on. They did 4 episodes, about Charles Stephaney. They've done so much more than that, but there was 1, 2, 3, and 4 episodes that they did on him, and I think I left a comment in the 4th episode about him that if I had a vote, rather, to vote for the musical Mountain Rushmore, that I would vote for Charles Stephaney to be on it. And yeah, because he was that awesome. He was that great, that much of a giant. Not only a giant, but a genius. And if you ever heard his arrangements, there's not too many people that's in his stratosphere. Not too many people can touch him. Not too many people who can do the things that he was able to do. And the people who worked with him literally marvel at his abilities, because they have stated for themselves that in his basement of his home, when they would gather and go there to meet him, that's where he would do, I guess, his work. And he was just he was magical in the way that he put things together. And obviously, because albums were just being pumped out with his name on it and associated with it, it was greatness. It really was. And of course, one of the groups that I was very fond of back in the early 70s that I really, really, and still to this day, but when they were fresh and new, you could say from the late 60s to the early 70s, or just say from the early 70s, let's say that, because they had another name before they had Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Salty Peppers and all of that. Yeah, they totally changed my perception of what music could sound like. And a lot of that was attributed to Charles Stephaney. But I became an instant fan when I, started hearing songs like Open Our Eyes by Earth, Wind, and Fire, Mighty, Mighty, Evil, and just to name a few of the songs. But at that time, I didn't know who was behind a lot of that. But it was Mr. Stephaney, Charles Stephaney, and just an awesome, awesome, awesome arranger and producer. And his daughters have taken on a project over the years to where they're trying to get royalties for their father's work. Because as, has been custom, these record companies, and they did a lot of things. And, it's good that they were fighting to get what was due for their father. And I apologize, folks, because all of a sudden now my screen is frozen up. So nevertheless, thank you all for joining me once again for an edition of the Tony White Show. I wanted to feature Charles Stephaney.